Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
I'm not usually a hat fan, but wow.
Jeg vil ikke være en dagger.
I'm really sipping on that dumb bitch juice today, and
Yeah, I am. But you know what? Someday I just might grow out of that. But you will never stop being a jerk.
All chocolate cakes are good. You're a fascist.
it's hideous.
It's horrible.
It's home. Angry white boy, let's go!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The only podcast to follow a young Scottish man's rise to the top and then fall way, way back down again. That's Simone LaRue.
And that's Chad Ekowitz, bringing me so much joy first thing in this recording.
We got to keep it up. We got to keep it light and lovely. And what better way?
And you
than
might
a
have to do the
Scottish
whole
accent.
podcast in your Scottish accent. It is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I mean, to be fair, my mum is Scottish, and she
Hmm.
used to do the most adorable thing. Whenever she used to phone her parents, she would put on a Scottish accent.
Oh, sweet.
So it was really, really adorable. So she'd have a like South African accent. It's just like, oh, I'm on the phone, and then just be on the phone to her dad and just be like, right. And it's just like, oh, it's just so cute. So like
Bless.
being around the Scottish accent,
Right.
like for my whole life, it's kind of made it
Yeah.
very easy to just
Okay.
put it on when I want to.
And also, as part Scot, then do you feel a real affinity for the subject of our episode today? Are you like feeling a bit of pride? Like, he made
Of
it.
course. He made it. He's one of the good ones. He just made it out of the small town, this handsome, bedeviled, grizzly man.
Yeah, all
who
the
just-
odds were against him. He was too beautiful,
Exactly.
too
And
tall,
Hollywood just
too
looked
broad.
at him. Hollywood was like, we don't need another gorgeous action hero. Come on, get out of here, Gerard. What kind of name is that? And then he just like did an American accent and smiled,
Mm.
and they were just like, okay, we can't say no to you now.
And he didn't even do that good of an American accent.
No, I think that is one thing you can always ask from a Gerard Butler film is what kind of accent is he going to be doing today?
And the answer
I really
Is a modified version of his Scottish accent.
exactly. I do want to talk about that when we discuss Greenland because wow, I was super confused for about half the movie. I found it very distracting with
Yes,
his accent.
I also found it very distracting.
But yes, so not to bury the lead, we are doing a Gerard Butler week, and this week we are doing two very diametrically opposed films. We are doing Greenland, as I mentioned before, and we are also doing Phantom of the Opera. Oh, Simone. Oh, so many feelings. So many feelings. How do you like? Have you ever seen the stage production of Phantom?
I haven't. I've seen like clips of recordings of stage productions, but I've never
Uh-huh.
actually seen it live. I am
Right.
aware of how the film is different from the stage production.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
like vaguely aware.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie was my first and main introduction to Phantom of the Opera.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really great though, because I mean, I know this movie isn't good, but also it is.
It is
right?
though.
Like it is.
And can
Without
I
a question,
say,
this
like,
movie
I
is
thought
good.
I was over my crush on Gerard Butler. I was like, no, he's old news, like, whatever. And this, like, watching the movies for this episode has brought that crush roaring back.
I think the Gerard Butler in both of these movies really speaks to your sort of affinity for men. So in Phantom, you've got this man who's broken and really dodgy, and but you can fix him, just like Christine tried
Honestly,
to do.
I feel like Phantom might be where this all started.
I feel, and it's continued all the way until Greenland, where you've got the father figure who just looks after everyone, and that again does it for you, which is why for some reason you find Sacha Baron Cohen so attractive these
Okay,
days,
no,
like a crazy
that's different. That's different. I said he is actually handsome when he tries to be handsome, but I wouldn't let him tear me apart like I would let Gerard Butler tear me apart.
Yeah, he'd ruin you.
Ugh,
Yeah.
just psychologically, emotionally, physically. Ugh.
It would be like the ending of Greenland, just
Truly.
devastation as far as the world can see. Oh man. Okay. Well, I want to get straight into it because this is
Yeah.
such a sexy episode.
Ah,
So, what
I'm
are
so
you drinking this week?
Naturally, because I'm gonna be a pervert this whole
Mhm.
episode, I'm drinking a nice white wine. I don't know if that's the
Oh,
pervert's
nice.
choice, but it's mine.
If that's not the best advert for white wine ever. White
The
wine. If
pervert's
it's not the
choice.
pervert's drink, it's mine. I don't know. I feel like if you had a mustache and were drinking rosé, that would be more pervy. Like
Mm.
you can just like in my head, I don't know why, but I just picture a man with a mustache with a glass of rosé down by a park, like a
Yeah.
kids park, just like
I
just
guess I
watching
was
the
sort of
kids.
thinking like whenever women objectify a man, then they always have like a glass of white wine in their hands.
Yes,
So
that is true. It's very Sex in the City. I
thank
completely agree
you.
with you.
I thought
Yeah.
so, and I couldn't afford to buy all the ingredients to make a Cosmo, so here we are.
Oh God, who would?
Oh
Jesus.
God, and they're
Come
not
on.
even that.
Ugh.
Let's not.
No. That's for our separate podcast, the drinking podcast, where we just discuss the most ridiculous drinks out there.
And I think we can all agree that martinis are actually disgusting, and if you like them, you're a liar.
Why would you drink that? You're not James Bond. I don't even think he likes it. Come
No.
on. Gross.
Anyway.
No. Long Island iced tea. That's the only good cocktail in my
Wow.
opinion.
Okay, we
Apart
both
from
know
a
that's not
mojito.
true. A Long Island iced tea is the drink you have when you're like, listen, I'm here for one thing only, and it's to get fucked up. This is economical.
It is. It is the most for alcohol to payment ratio. It is actually a really good deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, you done's gonna get fucked up without question. Got to agree with you.
No,
Yeah.
like if someone orders
had
a
a
Long
mid-
Island iced tea when we're out, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's the night that this person wants to have.
I want to get messy. I want to
Yeah.
get sloppy. I
Yeah.
want to remember my name in 2 hours.
Yeah, they are not okay.
Lubricant.
They're
Yeah.
going through something.
Yeah, that's why no one's favorite drink is the Long Island iced tea because that's just a cry for help.
If you meet someone whose favorite drink is a Long Island iced tea, just run. Just run.
Could there be a bigger red flag? Let's be honest.
Well, speaking of red flags, Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
Shit.
yes. I don't even. Oh, that was such a great transition. I don't even care. I'm drinking a beer. Let's just go straight into Phantom. Fuck it.
Okay. Do you want me to explain Phantom of the Opera to you?
Yes, I do, and I wouldn't mind if you sang like 5 bars of every song as it comes to it in your synopsis.
Okay, thanks. I'm actually not super warmed up right now.
Okay, yeah,
but
yeah.
I'll just so everyone's aware.
Yeah,
but
no,
I'll
I
see
don't want you to hurt
what
your
I can do.
instrument. So,
Yeah,
you know.
Thank you so much. And I'm also not a soprano, so a lot of Christine's parts are not in my range.
I'll do Christine's part. You do Phantom's,
Luckily,
it's
you do
fine.
have the voice of an angel, and you are a soprano.
Aw.
Are you a
I mean,
soprano?
literally. Aw. I don't know what I am, dude.
I actually don't know either.
keep
All I
going
know is
higher.
I'm not a soprano.
I think what I'm called is pitchy.
Oh, I usually get flat, so that's fun.
Oh,
Maybe
there
we
we
can
go.
even
It's
each other
perfect.
out.
Good.
Okay. I'm gonna skip all the weird like flashback or like glimpses of the future shit that happens
Yeah.
because it doesn't
Yeah, there's no
really
need for that.
contribute to the plot at all. Okay. So we open on the Opera Populaire, a grand opera house in Paris. It is busy changing owners. Now it is owned by Furman and Andre, played by Ciaran Hinds and Simon Quilloy, respectively. As they take over the opera house, they learn that the first thing and main thing that they have to do is cater to Carlotta's needs. Carlotta, played by the incomparable Minnie Driver. She is the prima donna of the opera house. Everything that she wants, she gets because she is the talent. They also meet Madame Giry, basically like the head of the dancers, I think, and kind of like
Yeah, pretty
low-key
much.
runs the opera house. Played by Miranda Richardson. They meet her young ballet dancer daughter, Meg Geary, played by Jennifer Ellison. And they meet hot young orphan, which is how they describe her, not me.
Yes.
Christine Daae, played by Emmy Rossum. Madame Gary's like, oh, Christine's like super talented. Christine, meantime, has noticed that the rich, hot Viscount Raoul, played by Patrick Wilson, is actually her childhood friend. This will become important later.
Yes.
While Carlotta is at rehearsal, there is an accident that almost results in a loss of life. She refuses to perform until they can sort their shit out. Fair enough. The two new owners are in shambles. They don't know what to do. And Madame Cuerie's like, oh, Christine's like an amazing singer. You guys should just cast her. And it goes off super, super well. Everyone's really impressed. Everyone's obsessed with Christine. Carlotta is obviously furious. Then when Christine is talking to her friend Meg later on, Meg's like, hey, like, how are you so good? Like, who's your teacher? And Christine goes into like this weird rant about how like her father sent an angel of music to look after her, and he's been like giving her voice coaching lessons. And Meg's like, sounds weird, but okay. Raoul's like, oh my god, hey, it's you, my childhood friend. And she's like, yes, absolutely. And it looks like they're ready to pick up where they left off, which is making out. And he's like, oh, come with me to dinner.
Making out.
He's like, come with me to dinner. And she's like, no, my angel of music will be mad. And he's like, you're weird, I'll be back in a bit. And then literally,
yeah, you're weird.
Anyway, put your dress on.
He's such a himbo. He's such a wonderful himbo. I love him so
I love
much.
him so much. Anyway, it's at this time that Christine's angel of music decides to make himself known. A, because he's pissed off that Raoul's taking credit for all of what he considers his hard work, and B, because he's feeling very possessive about Christine. And also on this, like the eve of her rising talent star, he feels like it's time that they took things to the next level. Bam! It's not an angel of music. It's the Phantom of the Opera, played by Gerard Butler. He lures Christine in through song and also through the mirror in the dressing room. And takes her down to his lair, where the two, like, I think just have like seductive conversations until the next morning.
The sexiest form of foreplay.
He also sends a bunch of demanding letters to the management at the opera house. He's like, you have to cast Christine in this thing, blah, blah, blah. And apparently this opera house puts on different operas like every fucking night because it's a new opera the next day. And they're like, no, we won't give in. We don't negotiate with terrorists. So they're like, we're going to cast Carlotta again. It doesn't go great. There's a horrible accident on stage. And it's at this point where Christine's like, oh shit, like this is not fun anymore. She talks to Raoul. She's like, listen, like something's up. The Phantom of the Opera won't leave me alone. And he's like, no, chill. I've got you. I'm going to look after you. The two of them get secretly engaged after they make out on a rooftop. The Phantom sees the whole thing. He's very upset. Basically, the threats against the opera house continue to escalate. Christine is more and more terrified of the Phantom, but also like weirdly into him, maybe.
Yeah.
And then it reaches like the final climax where she decides that she'll star in the opera that he wrote, as a way to lure him out and trap him so that he'll finally like leave her alone. And Raoul's like all on board with using his new fiance as bait. It shockingly doesn't go well. The Phantom kidnaps her, takes her back down to his lair. Raoul runs after her. There's like this weird emotional showdown, and the Phantom's like, go be with your love, and then like disappears into like the catacombs in which he lives, and disappears. And it's implied that Christine and Raoul live happily ever after, but the Phantom's love for her never dies. The end.
That's great. I love the fact that you were able to kind of get the sequel's name into your final prose
I thought you'd catch that.
That was beautiful. That was chef's kiss. Thank you for that. So, I mean, Jesus, how could you settle on one cliffhanger? Should we just play our favorite bits?
But we're just going to play
the
you the whole movie. Go onto Spotify, look up the soundtrack for this movie, listen to the whole soundtrack, come back.
Yeah, we'll be waiting. We'll be waiting here for you. But what is your cliffhanger? What was the quintessential Phantom clip for you?
Oh, this isn't quintessential at all. Like, this is just purely for me. It's this one.
Right.
And it's anytime Carlotta's being fucking sassy.
That woman. Oh my God.
I always used to like kind of ignore Carlotta, and like when I first watched this like as a teen, because it's like, oh, she's like annoying. Honestly though, a queen.
No. She is the best human being on the planet. And I think watching it as you grow older just makes her an even better character than every single time you watch it.
Minnie
and what's
Driver
crazy is that
kills it.
Minnie Driver she is such a killer at this. I mean, to think of like the other things that she's done and stuff, like Good Will Hunting and things, and then it's just like this, where she plays Carlotta, and it's just like she must have had the most fun with this role, like ever.
Totally. It is worth noting that she didn't sing Carlotta's songs. There was a voiceover. They had a Broadway actor singing over. Yeah, so she was just like performing the role. But she killed it. So funny, so good.
Right. Oh yeah, she was brilliant. So funny, so good. Yeah, and to be fair, you can say that about pretty much everyone in this movie. Everyone absolutely does brilliant bang up job. You know, it's got our favorite boy who plays Raoul, who I mean, we were talking
can we
off
pause
mic
here
beforehand
a
about
moment?
our sexual awakenings of this movie.
Can we pause here a moment and talk? Like, I was never into Raoul, obviously. Like, I was a Phantom stan as a teenager, and I was like, oh, who is this? And now watching it again, I'm like, I get it.
Oh yeah. Like I said to you before, there's that scene where, you know, Christine goes off to the graveyard, blah 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 blah, and Raoul finds out, and he like talks to the cab driver, the horse driver, and he runs and leaps onto his horse bareback while wearing this beautiful billowy white shirt
and these tightest black pants.
They're not pants, they were drawn onto him, they were painted onto his body. And that jump, oh, he can jump on me and ride me bareback anytime. Good Lord.
And I mean, on top of that, like, genuinely, he's a wonderful singer. Like, he's very, very good. He's classically trained.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's like a trained Broadway singer. And he had like actually amazing like stage presence.
Yeah.
Like,
he played it really well.
Yeah, he was just fantastic in this role. He was a joy to watch. He had great chemistry with Emmy Rossum.
And I mean, she's perfect. I love her in everything she does as well. Emmy Rossum is so lovely. You know, I did think like they with this role with Christine, they did, you know, she was a little bit of a wet blanket. Like, you could feel like there was bits where she could have come across stronger and everything. I mean, there's that like really beautiful bit where you know, she's having like an existential crisis down in like the catacombs with Raoul. And he's like, before he's just like, yep, sorry, you gotta do this. Yikes. You know, and she's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, my life's really hard. And like, you can understand where she's coming from and everything. It's like this really nice, beautiful moment, and then it's just lost because Raoul's like, whoa, tough shit.
Get your shit together, girl.
Sorry,
let's go. That's all. Like, all the movie is Christine being like, guys, I've got a bad feeling about this. Guys, like, I'm actually really freaked out. And people are like, Christine.
Don't be crazy. Come on.
You're so weird. You
Although, I guess, like, by that point in the film, as well, though, like, I guess, like, Raoul could have stabbed him in the graveyard and it would have been all over. So I guess, like, he's at his wit's end with this bitch. And he's just like, you know what? We could have had this solved. I could have just straight up stabbed him in the neck. But you were like, nah. He's got to be saved. So you know what? This is on you now. I've come up with a plan. Yeah, that's my feelings.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. She's definitely, I think she's definitely not like the most like charismatic, sympathetic Christine.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, it is beautiful, that end bit as well, when she finally like kisses the Phantom and everything, and then he like has the full-on breakdown. That is really, really nice. But it is, like you say, it's with the lack of sympathy throughout the movie, you kind of don't understand why she does that.
Yeah, you're like, what's happening here, Christine?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into that, but like, let's talk about like our focus today.
Yes,
Mr. Butler.
Yes, let's get back on point.
Was ready to like roast him when I was watching this yesterday, because, you know, he is like, he was cast as the Phantom and he didn't have really any training. He just had to like figure it out for himself. And I mean, I'm sure he worked with like a vocal coach and stuff. Like, he wasn't like totally in the dark. But actually, his performance is wonderful. Like, what he lacks maybe in like singing chops, he just pours all the emotion into every single second of it. He pours like, and he's like a very charming, handsome Phantom. He like, look, I would also let
There are
him drag me
bits.
down to his lair. Um,
Oh.
but like, yeah, he plays it really vulnerable. He plays it really angry. Like he really knocks it out of the park.
Yeah. I think what's really nice about his performance as well is it's kind of cheeky. You know,
Yeah.
there's it's this very cheeky kind of Phantom. You know, there's that bits where you know, obviously, okay, first of all, he sexually grooms a child from
Yes,
you know
we're-
when she's young. So we're gonna ignore that. We're gonna
Look,
ignore
Phantom
that.
is
He's-
inherently problematic.
Yeah, yeah. So we're just going to ignore that for now.
Yeah.
I just felt like we would be remiss not saying it because we don't want to be supportive of his
The
antics.
Phantom is a giant creep, and he like groomed and abused Christine. And this whole story is basically like Christine
Yes.
trying to escape her abuser. We know, we know.
Now that that's been said, very cheeky, very attractive. I could see why he kind of would get his way because there's those scenes. So like the first one is like when he's singing music of the night and he like touches Christine's breast and like caresses her and stuff, and you're just like, oh, Phantom,
my
no,
God.
but also yes. And then later again when he does the when they're doing the Don Juan opera,
past the point of no
and
return.
he's up, you know, singing past the point of no return, and he does the same thing.
Ugh.
Yeah, and he's doing the same thing
Yeah.
again, and you're just like, yeah, because you are so charismatic and
Yeah.
powerful and just cheeky, you can get away with these very sexual things that aren't like, it's not evil. It doesn't feel creepy when he does it.
Yeah, I maintain that past the point of no return scene is honestly still like one of the sexiest scenes on camera. Like the two characters have such
man.
great chemistry
Oh, man.
together.
It's
Annie
incredible, right?
Rossum is bringing it. Like he is just
Oh.
he has taken all the stops out. Oh. Oh, I mean, fucking, they
Yeah.
keep showing shots of
Yeah.
Raoul with like
Oh.
tears in his eyes because he's like watching his fiance be like thoroughly seduced. And like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a proper cuck move.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it. You can understand it because he's like, it's like you'll never be able to satisfy her the way I do. You know, it's the whole ascension up the stairs, her dress, like the straps falling to the
down.
sides. Everything about that scene, just perfect. It is so good. And you could imagine being there. Like, I love that opera because obviously we don't really know anything about the Don Juan
Yeah, no,
opera
not at all.
from the whole thing. But like, you see from like little pictures of the audience, they're like disgusted and really taken aback by it. And you can just imagine you and I sitting in that audience being like, fuck, this is steamy. I love it.
I am convinced like everybody knew that was the Phantom like ages ago, and they were like, let's just let this play out. Let's just see.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it has to be, right? Because there's no way that they thought Piangi was the same guy.
Yeah,
Like the voice
no.
is totally different.
Totally
Like I
different.
understand where they're trying to come from. Like, but no, it's not. So what is your favorite song in this one?
Oh, you know, it varies. It really varies. And I think like
Mhm,
they all bring such different things to the table, right?
mhm.
Like Past the Point of No Return is sexy, and
Oh,
All I
yeah.
Ask of You is actually like so beautifully done.
Mm.
I think those two like just do the duet so well together. It's really sweet
Yeah.
and lovely. And then Music of the Night is always like, I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
a little bit of the quintessential Phantom song.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh
get you.
yeah, I don't know. I like it all. I think I think I just really rediscovered my love for Phantom of the
Mhm.
Opera.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I completely agree with you. It's so hard to pick one good song, but
Yeah.
like I think for me it's the little in between. Well, first of all, it's Masquerade. Like that is
Oh,
one of the
that is a
best
party,
songs
yeah.
of all time. It's so good. And I mean the choreography that they do for this movie for Masquerade is just
So
like
great. Yes.
unbelievable. There's that guy with the black and white mask and he does that little like in-betweeny dance and you're just like, holy crap, this is
Yeah.
incredible. I love this movie. How did they do this? This is brilliant. But it's, for me, it's like also the little in-betweeny songs. So the first time that Christina removes his mask and he sings,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
your little praying
just
Delilah, your little
rages.
viper. Yeah, that is such a great song. And I always feel like such a lovely emotional connection
Yeah.
there because it's like, I'm angry and now I'm really vulnerable and I loved you and you betrayed me and I'm still gonna love you.
Yeah.
And I hate myself for doing
Yeah.
that.
And Christine's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You took me down to the caves and I'm kind of like stuck here and this is terrifying.
This is not fun. So where I think this movie kind of falls apart,
Right.
is that Joel Schumacher did not do a great job at directing it.
Okay. Okay.
Just like because I think Dynamite cast, like great music, everything. But like some really weird visual and like camera choices. Like, for example, in the masquerade scene,
Yeah,
right?
I get you.
They keep talking about like all the colors and everything, but it's like very monochrome, like it's black and white and gold and silver. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, sure, that's a choice. And then there's this
Yeah,
bomb
that's it.
choreography where they're coming down the stairs with like the fans and stuff. And he keeps cutting away to like focus on like audience members and like random individuals. And it's like, no, we just want
Yeah.
to see this choreography panning out. And you're not showing us that. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's very similar
We
to
want
like
to we want to
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go. Finish thought. Mine was just like a doubling on
Yeah.
yours, so you go for it.
Thank you. And then like in Past the Point of No Return, which is like a very tense, sexually charged scene, you really should just be focusing on like the two actors. And then it like randomly keeps cutting away to like the dancers doing like honestly ridiculous dance moves. And then cutting back and you're like, okay, so all this tension you just built, you've like dropped it again, and now you got to build it up again. And then we see more weird dancers and you're like, great. So like, and then I think on top of that, like he just doesn't really like show Christine's emotional journey very well at all.
No, it's really sporadic, like his journey through Christina, because like you get this sense like it's the change is so fucking quick for her, and it makes no sense that like she's like super besotted with this angel music. She's like completely like, yep, this guy is amazing, love him as a teacher, great. And then she finds out who she is, and she's like freaked out, and then she kind of just like immediately falls in love with him, and then she pities him, and it's just like, where's the you're so right, where's the journey, bro?
And I'm sure like, I mean, Emmy Rossum's a great actress. Like if she'd gotten better direction and if like there had been better visual storytelling, I think it could have been like a lot more cohesive, because it literally, you're right, it goes from like she's like, oh, like angel music, I'm so in love, he's helping my career, and then like literally the next scene she's like, Raul, we need to get away from him. And it's like, girl, when did this happen?
Why do you now
like
change
we
your
did
mind?
not see this we did not see this thought process happen.
No, exactly. I think it is, I don't know if Joel Schumacher is sort of like a musical director. I don't know if he's done anything else.
Not at all.
So to be fair, I had a look at like sort of the trivia on this, and Neil Blomkamp was supposed to be the original director for this. And honestly, like I kind of feel like we lucked out, because I don't know how Neil Blomkamp would have done with this. Also, Chris Evans was wait, no.
Chris, imagine.
That's for Greenland. I made a complete fuck up there.
No, I think they were actually looking at Hugh Jackman as Phantom, possibly.
I could see it.
I mean, he's actually got Broadway training, but I don't think he has the same like dark presence that Gerard Butler had. They also thought about Antonio Banderas, which honestly might have been too sexy. Like early 2000s Antonio Banderas.
Problematic. Oof, could you imagine in those outfits, in that Don Juan, that thing he wore for Don Juan,
that three-piece suit with the cloak.
Ruined. All the women of that era, early 2001 era, just done, broken for all other men. It would have been over for you bitches. I mean, I don't know what more there is to say about it. I think, it would have been better. I think it was shot more, I guess, like maybe Joel Schumacher took it as like, okay, it's called The Phantom of the Opera, so we should be following The Phantom of the Opera. Because I do feel like it was more about us feeling sorry and, feeling his feelings more than Christine's.
For sure.
Christine's painted as the bad guy. Like if you look at the YouTube comment section of any one of these songs, Christine is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which is not really fair,
groomed.
Yeah, this
She
is
was an
this is a
orphan in
clear
school.
example of systemic sexism.
Yeah, and Madame
rape
Giry
culture
like
right here.
did not protect her at all. If anything, she encouraged it. So like she was
Yeah.
let down by several parental figures.
Yeah, yeah. This is actually a really good study into the psychosis of victims
Mm.
of sexual grooming. Very interesting study. A scene that could have saved it for you?
So I mean, besides like what we just said about like following Christine's emotional
Uh-huh.
journey, for me, I think like something to like also no, I don't know. Actually, I've actually got no notes. Like there's nothing I would add besides like,
Yeah.
you know, showing what the fuck is going on with Christine. It's you know what? It's also it's not anyone's fault that Gerard Butler did play a very sympathetic Phantom of the Opera. He cried so beautifully.
You make a good point.
So beautifully.
You make a really good point.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, also,
Yeah.
you know what I would take
Like,
out is that ridiculous
yeah.
makeup effect when she removed his mask and like somehow his hair was like 5 shades lighter and like the
It's a
burn
wig.
marks went like covered half his face. I know that's like a famously bad thing that happens in this movie, but it's still so shit every time.
It is bad. It is bad, without a question. It is really shocking. But it was a wig. The black hair is a wig, okay? That is the vibe that we're going for.
Okay.
And I had to explain this. I've had to explain this time and time again when I watch this with people. And I don't know why I defend it so hard, but I do. I do
That's
for
just
Gerard's
not made
sake.
very clear. Like it's not
Yeah.
canonically a wig until the very end.
No. Yeah. You make a very good point. Also, something that we've completely missed to say, and I'll say my scene. Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, I don't have a scene that could have saved it. Maybe, you know, during the graveyard scene, Raoul's shirt gets cut open, and we get to see his
Even
deliciously
more of
bare
his
chest.
beautiful chest.
Yeah, that's the only note I really have for this movie. But also Gerard Butler as the Phantom is so unbelievable. Like I did not think it was Gerard Butler for like the longest time. I maybe watched this about 10 times before I realized who it was.
Yeah, it's a very different role from the ones he usually gets cast in.
And it's young Gerard Butler as well, so you're just like, you know, he's almost unrecognizable.
He's too beautiful, honestly. Like
So pretty. He's so pretty.
you're like, yeah, okay, this guy can't integrate into society. Like 3/4 of his face are fucking perfect.
Exactly. And he's got the voice of an angel and the body
and he's
of
like
a god.
genius. Like, are you telling me he couldn't come up with any fucking solutions beside being like a weird basement dwelling incel? Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's the most unbelievable thing about it. He actually just gets like a normal job and he's like fine and everything's gold.
Yeah, truly. Like this was what, the 1800s? Like lots of people had fucked up faces. It was the 1800s. Life was hard. Like if you're rich and you're good at things, people don't care.
Exactly. It would have been fine. But yeah. Fine. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Like the new patrons come in and they make a really deal for him to be like their shadow partner for like the third of the thing, and then he just like kind of runs a theater for them, and everyone's really happy, and everything's gold.
Get him a girlfriend who's age appropriate.
Simple. Really simple. Lovely.
Great.
Yeah. He hasn't been sexually grooming. Amazing. Oh, that girl, she was keen as a bean. Like when she comes down to his little chalet, she is like down for it. She wishes like, she could find him.
Where's the Phantom? Meg.
Oh, I'm here. My makeup is perfect, and I too am in tight pants and a long billowy white blouse.
Fight me, Phantom.
That is
Fight
a sexy
me.
androgynous look.
Yeah, she looks great.
That is the most beautiful androgynous look of all time. I think more people should wear super tight leather trousers and long billowy
I think this
shirts.
movie set my expectations really high because I'm actually quite furious that 2 men in billowy shirts have not sword fought over me in a graveyard while I wear a weirdly plunging neckline for going to my father's grave. It was just the goth aesthetic that immediately imprinted on my brain.
I understand. Look, when I come back over to South Africa in May, we'll set it up. Me and Rudy will fight for your honor in a graveyard.
Not the same. We both know it's not
it won't
the
be
same.
snowing. It's not going to be the same, but look, I'm trying here.
Thank
for
you. No, I
Like, come
appreciate. I
on.
appreciate
Like,
it. I
just
just it
appreciate
needs to
it.
happen organically or not at all. You know.
Okay. All right. Fine.
And
Fine.
ideally, if it could be
fine.
Patrick Wilson and Gerard Butler fighting
try
over
to
me,
do
like that
things
would
for
be
your best
great.
friend.
But
Look, I'll work on it. All right. I'll give me a couple years, and I'll get
dear
it done.
Gerard Butler.
This is the 100th time that I am writing to you now. I'm hoping that 100 is enough. Patrick is on board. We're just waiting on your confirmation.
Oh, thanks, Patrick.
So, would you watch this again? Dumb
Oh, yeah.
question.
Right now, I watch it again. It's such trash. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
It's great. It's so good. I love it. So this movie also has sort of like a special place in my heart as well, because my mum used to iron on the weekends on like a Saturday, and we would always either put on Phantom or we'd put on Titanic, and it was like a switch between those two.
So she really
this always
wanted
has
a
very
bisexual son, is what you're saying.
Yeah, she was keen. She was keen. Yeah, this was her form of sexual grooming, but for my sexuality more than anything else. Yeah.
She was like, if Leo doesn't do it, Patrick Wilson and Gerard Butler will seal the deal.
Yeah, I'm not surprised she wasn't surprised when she found out. She wasn't like, how could this ever have happened?
Like,
I took him to see Chicago when I was 10. How is he possibly bisexual?
If only thing, she was upset that you weren't even just like a little bit more gay.
Yeah. I mean, family goals, right? Right. So, talking about disappointing family movies, should we talk about Greenland?
What a segue.
Oh,
yeah.
I try my hardest.
Tell me all about it.
Okay,
Basically, the plot
now
of 2012.
Right, exactly that. A dad and his family get separated. Now, a lot of the synopsis, like it's quite a long synopsis, but I mean, most of it is just sort of the initial 20 to 30 minutes, and then the rest is very skippable.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. John Garrity, played by Gerard Butler, is this normal structural engineer living in Georgia. He has a wife, Allison, played by Marina Baccarin, and a son, Nathan, played by Roger Dale Floyd. His marriage, unfortunately, is on the rocks because he cheated on his wife, but the two are still trying to make it work because their son desperately needs them as he has diabetes. So one day, Nathan tells John about this massive comet that has entered the solar system called Clark. Clark is traveling hella fast, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue because even though the scientists haven't had a lot of time to study the comet, they say that it will mostly burn up when entering the Earth's atmosphere and then drop harmlessly into the ocean. John is now back home, getting ready for a barbecue, when with his family and neighbors. Allison needs him to go to the shops, though, in order to get some last-minute things. Whilst at the shop, he gets this super weird phone call. It's from the Department of Homeland Security. It tells him that he has to travel to a military base, and then he must be there by 9 p.m. and can only bring his family. No exceptions. He's a little spooked by this, but thinks it's super weird and decides to ignore it. At the same time back home, Allison gets the same message on the TV, but doesn't hear it because she's blow-drying her hair. So John gets home and he's kind of annoyed by this. He wanted to have a private word with Allison so they get things out. In the living room, everyone is watching the news because the first fragments of Clark are about to hit the ocean. Everyone is super excited and hold their breath, waiting for the impact. But there is no impact. Next thing they know, there's a massive shockwave that ripples through their house. They're all freaked out and turn back to the news. Turns out the scientists were wrong. The first fragments were not supposed to land in the ocean. They also did not burn up on entry. Instead, a massive part of the comet impacted on Florida, essentially destroying the entire state. Now everyone is well and truly terrified. That's when John gets another phone call from Homeland Security. This message appears on the TV again. All of their guests are confused and a little bit pissed off because none of them got the call. So they all leave, and John, Allison, and Nathan start packing. Turns out the biggest fragments of the comet is 3 times bigger than the comet that killed all the dinosaurs. This will therefore be an extinction level event. So the family decide to hit the road, and time and again, they are met with roadblocks. Eventually, they are able to make it to the military base and get inside. They are about to board a plane, though the destination is unknown. They are told to empty their bags and take only what is absolutely essential. That's when Allison realizes that Nathan's insulin is not in his bag. Turns out Nathan went into his bag when they were still in the car and dropped it out. John makes the decision to go back for it, even though they only have 15 minutes until the plane takes off. John goes to get the insulin, but in the meantime, Allison is freaking out. She goes to talk to one of the guards, and the guards realize that there has been a mistake. Nathan should have never been picked for this rescue mission because they don't want sick people on their planes. So they kick him and Allison out. Unfortunately, John doesn't know this, and he can't find out because there's no cell reception on a military base. So he goes to board the plane, ignorant of the fact that his wife and child are out in the cold. Eventually, he figures it out just in time to get off the plane before it takes off. He heads back to the car to find Allison and Nathan have already left and are on their way to Allison's dad's house because that's where it's safe, and they also have insulin stored there. Most of the movie is the two lovers trying to find each other. At some point, John learns that the planes are going to Greenland because there are some World War II bunkers there that have been fitted out to keep people safe. Eventually, they are able to reunite at Allison's dad's house and decide to travel up to Canada because John also found out that there are a bunch of planes leaving from there to go to Greenland. After many shenanigans, they make it to Canada and then on to Greenland. They make it with about a minute to impact and hold each other as the world outside burns to dust. 9 months later, they emerge to a new world, but luckily, there is life. Two birds are heard chirping as the bunker doors open. The end.
The end. Chad, what is your cliffhanger?
So it has to be this one, and it's the scene where they're driving the car and Nathan starts talking about how his buddy told him that life flashes before your eyes before you die, and he doesn't understand because why wouldn't you want that all the time? And his dad and Gerard Butler's like, how did you get so smart? And it's like, what? You ain't smart.
What is your creepy ass friend talking to you about?
Yeah, that's like, I would be more worried about that. Like, I understand the bigger
Yeah.
context is that the world's about to end, but still, like, watch what your friends are like hanging out with. It's
Yeah.
very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this scene also like speaks to the movie in the fact that it's really not about the dialogue, and yet there is so much dialogue.
Yeah. There's, I would say, maybe almost too much dialogue for what
Mhm.
happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So before we get into the movie itself, though, what is your plan of action? Right. Comet. We've just seen it in the sky.
Yeah,
It's
extinction
fuck off
level
huge.
event.
Yeah, extinction level event. What is Simone doing? How do we do this?
See, like, I was thinking about this, right? Because I was like, okay, do you spend like
Mm-hmm.
your potential like last hours on this earth like fucking fighting, clawing your way to a base that might possibly let you in? Or like, do you just do what like other people did and like have a fucking party? Are you like, because even if you like,
Mhm.
even if like, you know, by some infinitesimal chance you get into this bunker, right? Like, doesn't rebuilding society sound a little shit?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to do that?
It sounds like a fuckload of work.
And
Yeah,
people will be
that sounds like
such
an awful lot of work.
dicks
Like
about
an
it, you
awful lot
know?
of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because like you got an incredible like military presence,
Yeah.
you know, and that's a bit worrying as well because like obviously they've taken control. That's the reason why you're in the bunker in the first
Yeah.
place. They just have made the decision to open the doors down 9 months later, so you're kind of immediately on the basis like there is a presumption that the military is now in control,
Yeah.
which historically you do not want.
No, it's not a good time for anyone. So, you know, I'm really torn. I feel like if there wasn't like a clear exit plan for me, like it wasn't like, I would say if I
Okay.
had less than like a 30% chance of getting into a bunker, I would stock up on some
Right.
wine.
Okay.
I would make the most decadent meal I've ever made in my life. I'd
Mhm,
turn on my
mhm.
favorite movies and just curl up with my cats and my boyfriend and like let the end come, you know?
I think that's a lovely way
Yeah.
to go. Yeah.
What about
No,
you?
I completely agree. Yeah. Look, I completely agree with you in that respect. I mean, the first thing I would try to do is trying to get to the oceans. Now, I understand for like this type of extinction level event, the seas are going to boil. So
Yeah.
probably not the best decision. You know, but like I would try maybe get onto like a submarine because I feel like if you go deep enough, you
Yeah.
should be okay-ish.
Yeah.
You know, it's touch and go. It's touch and go.
Yeah.
If I can't get onto a submarine, I gotta agree with you. Plan is about massive
Yeah.
party. Now, I love how differently we are, like what different stages of life we're in, because you're like, really lovely meal, spend time with your, you know, bro down with Rudy and your cats, like have fun. And me, in my head, when it was like a party, it's eat all the food, most decadent meal, right?
Yeah.
But huge motherfucking orgy. We're talking debaucherous sex times.
Yeah, that's valid.
You
That's
know,
valid. You're single, so
yeah. Yeah, I think that is the difference, isn't it? It's the single thing. Yeah, you look, the world's gonna end. I want to do some weird shit that I would have never done.
Yeah,
like really weird shit, because there is no tomorrow, so I don't have to
weird.
feel shame in the morning.
No,
Yeah,
no,
let's
you
do
don't.
like do fucking crazy things.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, things you would never do in real life.
Exactly.
The risk of that is that if the calculations are wrong and tomorrow does come,
yeah,
it's a yikes. Serious yikes situation.
It's a little embarrassing, but I think like you'll get past it because everyone will be really happy the world didn't end.
You would hope so. You would hope that there's like a good contingency written into the crazy sex orgy. Yeah.
I would hope so. I would hope so. And also, like, Chad, like,
you know,
you're a lawyer and I like do marketing. I don't know if our places are secured in rebuilding society, you know? Like, I'm not
They need
convinced
podcasters, Simone.
we'd make True. You know what? You're so right.
They need, look, everyone knows that to rebuild the world, you need a mediocre movie podcast.
Yes.
You know, not even the best movie podcasts out there. You need the ones that are like slightly below the middle average.
Yes.
Those are the ones you need to rebuild society, because we appreciate, you know what we do on a weekly basis is build up from the rubble. We literally take things that are crap and broken and fix them.
And I mean, when you're rebuilding a society, isn't that exactly what you need?
Yeah, exactly.
Guys.
Two people with a chipper can-do attitude. That's what you want.
You know what?
Yeah.
We've just made our case. I will send this to the Department of Homeland Security.
Please do, because this look, you know what, the world is going to end, you know, we got about 7 years or so left. We need to really start securing that place, don't we? We need to sort this out pretty soon.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, so echoing your words, we need to bring this back onto focus on what this episode is. So Gerard Butler in Greenland, I know you have a thing for him in this, but apart from that, what did you think of his performance?
It was fine. It was fine. You know, like the number of times we've seen like white dudes play desperate dad who needs to do what he can to save his family. Like, he was fine at it. It was whatever. I do like that, like, Hollywood's kind of given up on asking him to have an American accent. So like they were just like, yeah, he's a Scottish guy who lives in America. It's fine. Like let's bring it along, guys.
I did feel like in the beginning though there was like hints of American accent, and then it like went away. I feel like they maybe tried it in the opening scenes, and then the director was just like, no, we just cut it. Like,
Gerard,
you're Scottish, it's fine.
Yeah.
It also means because of the Scottish accent, we can put in a really racist American later in the movie, which is great, which is what we wanted. You know, we wanted to see to bring that through.
I struggled with a lot of the conflict in this because like the whole thing was like people were like trying to get their bracelets and they're like, no, you can't have them. But it's like, this bracelet did you no favors.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I don't see why they wouldn't be like, yeah, fuck it, take the fucking bracelet. Like, they wouldn't let me on without my kid anyway, so
Yeah, it was really, really weird, like that they were so precious over the bracelets, like especially because like they took her son. Like,
yes.
As soon as that was the thing, it was like bracelet or your son. I would have just been like, yeah, fuck it, take the bracelet.
Yeah,
Jesus,
I don't give a
of
shit.
course,
Yeah,
that's my son. Yeah. I did think it was really touching when they went to visit Allison's dad's place, and the dad was just like so wonderful. He was just like, no, this is the house where I got married to your mother. This is the house where she died, and I'm gonna be waiting here for her at the end. That's what you want. That's the kind of love you just want, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that was very sweet. I thought like the opening, I would say half hour was very good. Especially the scene where like they're driving towards the base because they know they've got a place, and their neighbors are like freaking out, and they're like trying to be reasonable about it. They're like, you know, like, I guess just let us know what you know or whatever. Like, we know we can't come with you. And then the one neighbor is like, take my kid. And that was very emotional. Like, that was excellent. That was really, really great. The problem is that I think this is a problem with a lot of disaster movies that we've talked about. Like, it just like, maintains tension the whole time, and like as an audience member you can't be tense the whole time.
No, especially because this movie is just under 2 hours long.
It's so long.
Too long to have your shoulders tense the whole time. And you know, like, I love extinction level events like this. Like they're just like really fun to visualize and things. And I think they did a really good job. You know, the fact that there was this like beautiful orange filter over it. You know, the seeing of Florida just being burned up was just so crazy.
Wild.
It was really well done. But yeah, like it was weird, right? Because there was these long sprawling moments of them just driving or getting stuck driving or being stuck in queues.
There was a lot of
being shouted at by military.
Lots of cars that needed to be shown off.
That's how this movie. It would have been great if they'd shown like the big Clark asteroid coming in and it's sponsored by Pepsi Cola as it like descends onto the world. But yeah, I just felt like with an extinction level event like this, like you wanted more of that kind of thing. Like you want more of the life-ending doom thing to play a bigger part. You know, that's why I love 2012, because it was almost like the world was just chasing the protagonist. Like it was always just like a moment behind him, and that's just hilarious. Where this, it was just like, oh well, I need to get there. This other thing is happening off screen mostly, and you know, I'm kind of sad about it.
Bummer.
Oh. Yeah. And so yeah, I don't really have much more to say about it. It was just kind of like,
my main takeaway from this was like, if you have kids, they will slow you down in a disaster, and that's just something you need to be aware of when you make the decision to have kids.
Yeah, straight up. No, I completely agree with you. Yeah, I don't think kids do anything good for us, really. I think, you know, time and time again, we have been proven correct in that saying.
Like, at one point, like, there's fire raining down from the sky, and he's like, oh, cover our son. Like, he says to the love of his life, like, be a human shield for this child that's caused us nothing but strife. I was like, oh, yeah, I shouldn't have children, because I'd be like, fuck you cover him.
Rightly so. Why is it your job to cover him? Fuck that noise.
He was driving. But like, I don't know. I was just like, you know what? These are not decisions I want to have to make.
No. And it would have been great. Like, there's a on the DVD of Greenland, there's an alternative ending where they don't have the kid, or an alternative movie where they don't have the kid. They just hop onto the plane and then they're in Greenland and everything is fine, and the movie is 5 minutes long and it's great.
Did they leave their kid behind, or they just never had a child?
They just never had a child. They never had a problem.
Their
with
marriage is solid because they had the time to work on it.
Exactly. And then they just like, they got the message and were just like, oh yeah, you can come through. And it was absolutely fine. They made it through. They showed their bands. They got on the plane and everyone was like, yeah, this is great. And then they just got in. Yeah, no complaints. The government handled this super well. That's another thing. And I mean, you mentioned this right as the pandemic started going on, is that all disaster movies now are bogus, because we actually do know how governments react in a disaster situation. And the answer is poorly. So seeing a disaster movie where the government's like, like, jump into action, we're gonna fucking solve this, we know this is a lie now. And it's very hard to see.
And they also, like, they talk about like how basically they lied to the entire world population to stop panic, right? They like lied saying like, no, the comet's not going to be that bad. And meantime, they were like mobilizing and like figuring out this lottery system and stuff. And we're supposed to believe that every single government in the world was able to agree on this and keep a secret.
Oh yeah. It's bogus.
I'm Russia. If I'm Russia, I would let slip that the US has a lottery system going. And guess what, disabled people? Guess what, people with chronic illnesses? You're not fucking on it. And then just watch it burn, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It would be the best PR move in the world. It would be brilliant. Yeah, without a question. No, you're so very right.
Everyone died. It was fine.
Everyone died. Yeah, at least we were all equal. Who
We were
cares?
all equal, except for, our autocratic leaders.
Yeah,
It's
they're more equal than you. That's fine. It's fine. We need to start new society. But yes, no, you're so unbelievably right, and I think maybe the action film industry really has to look at itself now, coming into a post-pandemic world when we all
Come on,
remember
guys.
that governments are actually really bad at organizing things, and being unified on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So seeing that could have saved it for this one.
Oh man. I would have liked it was kind of like, I guess, a subplot, the fact that he
Okay.
had an affair and their marriage was like crumbling, but it doesn't really make a big difference in the overall arc of the story. And it would have been cool to see that come into play. Like there's this critical moment where they need to
Yeah.
work together and they just don't trust each other, or like they
Yeah.
can't communicate properly, or something like that. Just like already so much weird shit goes on between them, like, and like they get separated so often. Like it just
Yeah.
would have been cool to like see that like worked in somehow.
Yeah.
Or like maybe for
That
a
would have been
second
really,
she's
really
like,
cool.
maybe I should leave my asshole cheating husband behind.
Yeah, I like it. I like that plan. Or alternatively, the woman that he cheated on his wife with
Oh,
comes
yeah.
into play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be interesting. Yeah.
Oh, that would be great. They're all in the same
the
bunker,
drama.
actually.
Could you imagine for 9
Stuck for 9
months?
months?
Oh,
I would watch that movie.
that's a great movie. That is a great movie.
Oh.
Yeah. Drama, tension,
Ugh.
just like all the other people in the bunker just being like, please, I would rather go out with the radiation and everything than just like be in this kind of, this energy is just
I
very
don't know.
toxic.
If I were in a bunker with fuck all to do for 9 months, I would be on this. I'd be like, I'd like make friends with the mistress. I'd be like, so like, how's it going?
Yeah, just like kind of every now and again stir the pot and just be like, go to like Allison and be like, did you see the way he looked at her again today? And just
Her
leave and just like
jumpsuit
descend into
is
the background.
so slutty today.
Be brilliant, absolutely perfect. Oh, what a great 9 months. Oh, thank God.
Who brings a mini skirt to a bunker? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, how trash is she? And he slept with her. Oh, don't trust him, girl. Don't trust him.
You can do better.
Yeah. For me, I kind of wanted them to die, right?
Yeah,
So they get into
yeah.
the bunker. Yeah, they get into the bunker. It does like the flashbacks of their lives. And I thought that was a really good place to end
Yeah.
it because it's like ambiguous. Did they die? Is this the significance of them dying?
Yeah.
Great. Excellent ending. And then they were just like, no, 9 months later, everything's fine. There's
Yeah.
birds. And it's like, what a waste.
I thought like once they got to the farm, they would be like, oh, like we're not gonna make it, and then like make their peace with it. And I don't know. I thought that was gonna be the vibe,
Yeah.
but no, they're like, let's make
No.
our possible last hours a fucking mission.
Yeah, they really barely made it. Like with like a minute in, I feel like if I was a military coordinator, I would have that door shut long before a minute two.
I was saying to Rudy though, I think like from like a population, like rebuilding the population standpoint, like the reason that they let all those people in is like, actually you do want the scrappy resourceful people who managed to find their own fucking way to Greenland. Like those are the people that are going to rebuild your fucking society.
You're so right. You're so right. Those are your foragers. Those are
Yeah.
the guys who are willing to stay out for 12 hours and just like dig for berries.
Yeah.
You're so very right. Good point. Good point. Would you watch this again?
No, it was so long. It was so long. And I feel like
So
I've seen the
long.
same movie like 1,000 times, right?
It's outrageous. So I messaged you and I told you I watched the wrong
Oh yes, you
Gerard
started
Butler
watching
disaster movie.
Geostorm.
Geostorm, and it's almost identical. Like there is very little different between this and Geostorm, and so I felt really mad that I watched 3 hours of this action tropey thing, and I
I'm so
definitely wouldn't do it
sorry.
again.
I'm so sorry.
It's
yeah.
okay. It was my own fault.
Yeah.
I take meticulous notes. It was there on my computer, and I should have just double checked. So it's my own fault. But yeah, never again. I mean, yeah, Greenland can just stay in the past, especially like with what we've said about the mass worldwide disasters and how people actually react. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Simone. This has been a wonderful trip down sexy lane.
Such a sexy lane. And then there were some meteors at the end. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Exactly. So what is your gratitude for this week?
Oh, my gratitude for this week. Honestly, like, so I've had, like I told you, I've had a couple just like weirdly debaucherous weeks. Like I've just been eating like
Mhm.
garbage. I've been drinking a bunch. Um, and like I am grateful for green vegetables and fresh salads. You know, when your body's like, girl,
Mhm. Pick up a salad. Let's do
yeah.
this.
I had
Yeah.
a salad last night at a barbecue that we were at a braai. Um, and like they put out the salad and I was just like shoveling it in. I was like, oh my God, I did
Beautiful.
not realize like how much my body was craving fiber and greens.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's incredible. Like when you get to that stage when your body is just like at capacity and you're just like, if I see another fucking vodka coke, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. I'm gonna murder something. So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. Thank you, vegetables, and for being available the whole year round.
Yeah, exactly. And those who listen to this podcast who have kids, this is exactly why you should let your kids listen to this podcast. It's because we promote vegetable eating. You know,
Yes.
stay in
And
school, eat
letting
your
Gerard
vegetables.
Butler tear you apart.
Yeah, look, don't skip over that bit. The kids need sex ed too, and let's take it from two millennials. Like we're the best teachers for sex ed, without a question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, Simone, my gratitude for this week is that I finished exams.
Yay!
Woo!
Bye,
Exams are
exams.
over. Bye. It was beautiful. We're done. I don't have to worry about exams until next year, March. There are a whole bunch of friends who are just constantly like, you're always writing exams. And now I'm not always writing
aren't.
exams. It's going to be so nice to just, I woke up the day after my final exam. I woke up and I didn't know what to do with myself because I didn't have to study. So I watched some TV and I did the ironing and then I went to work. It was the weirdest sensation because I
Lovely.
just had like
Look at
so
that.
much more time in my life.
Mhm.
It was outrageous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
But it
thrilled
was
for
glorious. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be done with that for a while at least.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Simone, do you have any ideas for next week? Because I do.
Give me your ideas. I was my only
Okay.
thing that I was gonna put forward was like it
Yes.
is quite a while till October still. So if we wanted to sneak
Okay.
a cheeky horror in there, I think that would be okay.
I'm down with that. Yeah, I'm down with the horror movie. Look, let's save mine. And let's do some horror movies because it has been a while and I kind of just feel like taking it easy this week.
You know? Yeah. So I'm just gonna like do a quick
I'm going to do horror movies 2021.
also. Okay, I've got like a ranking of every horror so far in 2021.
Is that from USA Today?
Maybe. Steal my sources.
I think we Googled the same thing.
Oh my God, I've done that already. Christ. I hate when like places make you pause your ad blocker.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ooh, Shook got 50% on the dot.
Okay, what's Shook about?
Let's have a look. It's number 42 on that list. A social media beauty influencer begs off
Ooh.
begs off a live stream with friends to dog sit her sister's pooch, and it proves to be a bad decision when she's tormented all night by a mysterious caller who knows her every move and internet post. That actually
Ooh,
sounds bloody interesting.
That sounds really fun.
Okay, so we'll do Shook.
Oh, this is from 2019, but let's see how it did. There's another one called Funhouse that looks interesting. It has a Skarsgård in it. I think it came out in 2019 though.
Ooh, okay. So you know you wanted to see The Unholy.
Yes.
It
Oh,
got
did it do
26.
poorly?
Yeah, and I actually wouldn't mind watching it again. I mean, I went to see it in the theaters, and I wouldn't actually mind downloading it again.
Okay, cool. So we can do Shook and Unholy.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, cool. All right. I will lead us in again. I'll sort it out because like I really liked what we had there with the whole thing. Yeah. So what horror movies are we going to do for this next week then, Simone? What do we feel?
We are going to do one that you've watched already, so you already have some feelings. We're going to do The Unholy, and we're going to do one that sounds very interesting, Shook. About I feel like it's like the babysitter trope, right?
Yeah, exactly. But like with a title like Shook, it sounds sort of more millennial. And I
Yeah.
like, you know what? We dog on millennial horror films, especially like the ones that are like Instagram, you know, fucking what was that one we did the live stream on? That was just awful.
Oh, DeathCon.
DeathCon, yeah, where it's all
That
like
was terrible.
hashtag stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like they're terrible, but we kind of love them. Like we love those
Yeah, I'm excited.
millennial tropey things. Yeah. So it's a 2021 horror movie, y'all. We're about halfway
Woo!
through the year. Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
take what we've done
Halloween's
for this
so
last
far
year.
away.
And, you know, exactly. We need our fix, guys. We're like junkies, horror movie junkies. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. You guys are such an amazing audience. We love every single one of you so very much, and we can't. I'm like, it's mind-boggling that you turn in to us every week and love us and listen to us. It's bonkers. But we really appreciate it. And you know, if you appreciate us, if you want to tell us things of adoration, you're more than welcome to do so. It won't inflate our egos whatsoever. We are the most humble, pious people in the world. But where can they do that? Should they feel the inclination to tell us
You
how
can
much they
praise
love
us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Mottos Podcast. You can praise us in 240 characters or less on Twitter at Fresh Mottos MP. And you can email us as essays, novels, at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com.
I would settle for haikus and sonnets, but that's just me. I'm a very simple gal.
He's a classic.
But-
I like a nice limerick, personally.
Ooh, that's good. I like a good limerick. Yeah. But I won't steal your thunder. Limericks for Simone, haikus and sonnets for me. But as we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Bye.
Goodbye.